Hi everyone, welcome back to a new video. Happy Friday. After a long time, I'm finally doing another recovery story. So today I'm sitting down with Jaël. We worked together for a little bit, and he has a really cool story to share. He's been doing really well, and so I'm very excited to ask you some questions today.
Yeah,
Um, so first of all, maybe you could start with kind of sharing your background a little bit with DPDR and kind of what you struggled with.
yeah. Well, so basically, I think it started back in 2013. Um, and the background was just that I had never really been an anxious person up until then. Because all of a sudden I got a panic attack. And from that, loads more problems started. And ever since then, I think on and off, also in periods of great stress, I've been dealing with DPR. And I've been through all the stages. Like in the beginning, I didn't know what it was. After a while, I thought I was the only one having it, all the classics. And well, actually, ever since then, I had periods of not having it, but I also had long periods of having it, sometimes months on end, sometimes just days. Um, but yeah, so for the last 10 years, I've had it on and off, which prompted me to now like take action because I was like, I'm done with having it like on and off. It never goes away. So how could that be? And that's why well, I contacted you, of
Yeah,
course.
yeah,
So yeah, that's kind of like my story. I've been dealing with it on and off for 10 years now.
yeah. Okay. So when like, can you tell a little bit about the first time you experienced it and what that was like for you?
Yeah. Well, my first experience with it was actually the body part side of it. So more depersonalization rather than derealization. I remember just I was very stressed, and I looked at my arm, at my own hand, and it didn't feel like my own hand, and I was like, "What? This is weird."
Hmm.
And that prompted me to get like a panic attack, and I was like, I was looking at myself, and I didn't feel like myself. I just felt like a floating head on top of like a body that wasn't mine. And then all these other things came. Like I looked in the mirror, and I didn't recognize myself. I just saw another person standing there. So yeah, my first experience with it was just very very heavy,
Hmm.
just really
That sounds,
pure panic, not knowing what to do, almost crying. So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. And then the panic cycle started of like panic and
yeah, and then indeed the panic cycle started, and I started to do well all the classic stuff, researching it, looking up videos, looking up stuff. How can I beat this? I basically was looking for like the magic pill all the time,
Mhm.
and that made me more panicky. And then I walked on the streets and I looked at the houses, and they kind of looked like toy houses. So that's where it started to like flow into the world as uh, like my body was already like I had the depersonalization, but then I was outside and everything looked fake, and then I had the derealization. Um, yeah, so like you said, the panic cycle basically fed itself and just became worse and worse.
Yeah, yeah. And what exactly were your symptoms uh like over the years? Like you had anxiety, like how did
Yeah.
you experience the DP and the DR for yourself?
Well, I had basically just anxiety a lot. Really like a feeling like something is uh, like really like a doom feeling. Like I remember even not even that long ago when I was still really in it. Um, like you'd be in the most normal places, in the train to work, just outside in the grocery store, even in my own house, and I would feel so uncomfortable. Like so, the world was so pressing, and it all looked fake, and it just looked like it's really that feeling of like when you're introverted or something, and you're out with friends and you really hope, or you really wish you were home, because
Mhm.
when you get home, you can feel safe and comfortable. But that safe and comfortable spot for me was nowhere anymore. So everything just felt really pressing and anxious, and just overall, I felt super uncomfortable.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Something that I found really interesting about your situation was that in the beginning, when we first started working together, you told me that exercise was a very good thing for you and it like really
Yeah,
helped you a lot. And at
yeah,
first I was like, okay, so we went into that a little and exploring why it was good for you. And you talked about how it's like whenever you do well for your health, the symptoms would go away, but then when you
yeah,
would back on your physical health, it would come back.
yeah,
And so, as much as, and I think that's why I kind of want to bring it up because I think a lot of people think about their recovery as, oh, if I just do this one thing, it will get better, or I
yeah,
just have to exercise, or I have to stop drinking coffee, or I have to stop drinking alcohol, or,
yeah,
do this very rigid thing, and then I will get better.
yeah,
And what really ends up happening is that it's because you think it's those things that make you get better, that on the moment where you're not doing those things, it's not that you're actually it's actually directly having necessarily 100% of an impact, but it's just the way that you're perceiving it.
yeah,
So could you
yeah,
talk
yeah.
about that transition a little bit for you of how you went from being super rigid with like this is why I have it, it's because I'm not taking care of myself physically, to then more into a healthier transition. I guess you know
Yeah.
what I'm talking about. If
Yeah,
you
yeah,
could,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, I guess for me it was like, and it's also really thanks to you, because you said certain things that really like clicked in my brain, like after all these years, because like you said, I really tried to do stuff to make it go away, like
Mhm.
immediately. And yeah, exercise really is really good for me, and it makes me feel good, and I do it really rigorously, like for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then I feel better, and then I stop. And I think the switch now was something you said, that was like, maybe you should like do it for different goals, like switch the mindset of like, I'm now purely doing all this stuff, not drinking coffee, drinking less alcohol, working out, to make the feeling go away, but maybe I should do it for other stuff. So then I kind of switched the working out to like, maybe I just should keep on working out because it's good for me in my life. Like a life goal of me is to like still be mobile when I'm 70 years old or something. Like maybe I should just keep working out for that goal.
Mm.
And it was the same with like other stuff like coffee or something. Like I stopped drinking coffee because, of course, coffee was the thing that made it like worse, and it made it come up. But in the end, it really wasn't. Like now, I drink loads of coffee, and it's just I can like really, from the exercise part and from the healthy part, I can really rationalize things more
Yeah.
in a way of like, it's not always the DPDR. It is just when I drink coffee, when I have three cups in a row, I'm gonna feel a bit jittery. Of course, it's the caffeine. Like I can rationalize that now. I made that switch of like, it's not the fact that I'm a DPDR sufferer and that everything that I touch makes me have an episode. It's just that, some things are worse for you than others. But now I don't avoid them or do them anymore to get rid of my DPDR. I don't drink 10 cups of coffee a day because I think, oh, it's probably not good for me. I exercise because I know it's good for me, and I want to be mobile in the long run. I want to be healthy. So I just made that switch. I don't do it anymore to get rid of something. I just do it for me now.
Yeah. And I think that's why I raise it up because it's such an important thing. I think the reason why those things are good for your mental health is because they lower your stress, they make you more strong, they make you more confident. And so But if you're using those things out of an obsessive way to try to fight this danger that you feel is your DPDR, then the
Yeah,
stress actually ends up increasing because anytime you're not doing your exercise routine or anytime you are drinking coffee or you are having a beer, um,
yeah,
then you actually spike your stress up so much because you're like, oh, and there's a lot of tension of, oh, what's going to happen? And that's
yeah,
why, like in the beginning, I said, in the beginning, I thought, oh, maybe it is just that you really react very well to exercise. But then later on, I was like, but it's not because you're not exercising, it's not because you're having a beer or a cup of coffee that your nervous system should react to that extent that it actually is dissociating. Like, that's not
yeah,
because of the coffee or the exercise, it's because of
yeah,
how you're looking at it or how you're reacting to it on an emotional level. So
yeah.
where are you at with that all now? Do you feel like you can just really, on the one hand, take care of yourself, look after yourself, but on the other hand, also let go, let loose, and just
Yeah.
not have those obsessive control that control around it anymore.
Yeah, yeah, because I just I know I'm doing good. Just with everything, my job is going good. My life overall is going pretty good. I'm just healthy,
Mhm.
and that makes that I can really let things go now and just kind of also like rationalize things like way more, and that really helps with letting go as well.
Mhm.
Because like I work out now a couple of days a week, but I do it because I feel good. But I can also not work out for a week and not be in my head of like, oh my God, I didn't work out for a week, so now the DPDR is coming. No,
Mhm.
because I know like I'm still doing good, and it's the same like uh, what I just told you before we started. Like yesterday, I had some drinks with friends. Yeah, it makes me a little bit hangover right now, but I can rationalize it in a way of like, yeah, of course, it's not that I'm extra anxious or extra hangover than other people just because I suffer from DPR.
Yeah,
No, I'm the same as any other person, but now I'm a lot, like just a lot calmer
yeah,
about it. I
yeah.
can really like, because those feelings of DPR are really kind of like the same as loads of other feelings. So yeah, I do feel some of those feelings sometimes, but I can just brush it away.
Yeah, yeah. So what would you say now looking back? Well, first of all, how are you today? Like maybe we could start with that. If you describe how you
Yeah.
feel, how you are, um,
Well, I would say that I'm healing
yeah.
because I'm doing pretty good, but I do feel some DPR sometimes still, but it is just really there's this one thing that you said to me that's kind of become like a mantra for me in a way, which was like I really saw my DPR as a punishment.
Mhm.
Like I always ask these questions. Oh my God, why me? Why does this always happen to me? It always happens to me. No, everybody I see on the street or something, they all seem to be fine, and it always happens to me. And you said maybe you should, instead of thinking that, you should take it as a signal from your body that something might be wrong. Like in a way of like it always came like in periods that I was living really unhealthy or that I was doing certain stuff. And it's the same as like being a little bit hangover. Like you're kind of dizzy, kind of hazy.
Mhm.
It's like kind of those DPDR feelings, but I'm not punishing myself because I have those feelings.
Yeah,
I can now say, yeah, it's a signal for my body because I did some stuff that was bad for my body.
yeah.
So now I really take it as a signal that I'm maybe stressed, maybe I'm working too much, maybe I should eat better, maybe I should like. It's not even that I'm really onto those things immediately, because like you said, it shouldn't be some kind of thing that like, oh my God, I have these feelings, so now I need to do something to get them away. It's just like a small warning of like my body of like, hey, maybe you should see what you did differently last week, and maybe next week, shift it up a little, and you'll be fine.
Hmm. Hmm. So you basically overcome the fear of it Like you're not scared of it anymore.
No,
Mm.
I think, yeah, the thing is that I really reacted to it with fear before, and then the world felt really pressing, and I wanted to get out, but I couldn't get out anywhere. And now I still have those feelings sometimes, but I just know it's because of, I don't know, something. And I really know, and that's what like when I was really in the thick of it, I thought it was never possible. But now I truly know that it's gonna be okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I always get out of it for the last 10 years. I always got out of it, even when, some streaks of it were like months. It always like uh, I just know now that there's really nothing to be worried about. It
Mhm.
is a mechanism of your body that tries to protect you in great stress. And yeah, of course I have stress sometimes from work, from other stuff.
Yeah,
And yeah, my body reacts to that in a way. And
yeah,
I'm not fearing it. I'm just letting it happen. And I think, oh well, I'll probably feel better tomorrow.
yeah. And do you think because of that attitude, it's improving over time as well for you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because one of the last things that really helped right now too, like in these sessions that we did, was kind of like also accepting the fact that it is not a thing that just goes away 1 week, like within 1 week or something.
Hmm.
So I'm really trusting the process now. I know that like, I might not feel that good um, as like I did before I had all of this. But like I said, yeah, it is improving, and it's really improving like every day,
Hmm.
every week. And I'm pretty confident that, at some point it'll just be gone.
Yeah, yeah. It's interesting. I think you are really in the kind of upward. I always use like the exponential graph as an example because the less you care, the better it fe like the quicker you recover, and the quicker you recover, the less you care because you're like, okay, it's actually not that bad anymore. And that's kind of how you keep moving up and up and up until one day in a few weeks from now or a few months from now, you just wake up and you realize I haven't even thought of it in like days or weeks. Just because you're so
Yeah,
okay with it and you're so unbothered with it that it also never comes up anymore, or that
yeah,
maybe it does come up, but you just don't notice it anymore. Again, like you say, I think because of the work I do, sometimes I'll focus and think like, if I was still obsessed over my recovery right now or still scared of it, I might interpret this fatigue or this overwhelm as DPDR when really I'm just
yeah,
overwhelmed.
exactly.
And that's what you say, like my body's just telling me to rest, or I'm just overwhelmed.
Yeah,
My body's telling me to. A lot of DPDR is just hyper awareness of feelings, of sensations, is like this zooming out and thinking, oh, this is weird. And so when nothing is weird anymore because you've really surrendered to everything, that's, I think, one of the last things you said in one of our last sessions was, I like when you say I still feel it. Sometimes what you feel is not necessarily DPDR, but just
yeah,
fatigue or stress or anxiety or like regular dissociation after having a hard day, and you don't
yeah,
have to label it as DPDR necessarily, or it's just like,
yeah,
yeah, a signal from my body saying, "Oh, I need to rest," you know?
yeah, exactly. And I
Mm.
also think that in a way, I kind of compared it to like say you'd be an alcoholic or something. After a while, you can't tell the difference anymore in between being hungover and feeling normal, because you're basically always hangover.
Ah, yeah. Okay.
So now it was like I always experienced DPDR,
Mm.
so I couldn't like tell the difference anymore in between certain things, and I couldn't rationalize it in my brain. It was always a DPR. It was always the DPR's fault. I was a sufferer, and I'm probably gonna have it all my life. That's what I thought all the time. So I go to bed. I can't sleep for some reason. I only sleep 1 hour. The next day, I'm super tired. I don't think, oh, hey, I'm super tired because I didn't sleep that well. I think, oh, wow, what are all these DPR feelings that I'm experiencing? Why do I have this? So, like you said, yeah, like a lot of feelings that came up, I misinterpreted as like being DPDR because I always had it.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah. And
Yeah.
now I can rationalize those feelings a lot more. Like, yeah, I'm tired, or I feel a little sick, and yeah, stuff like that.
Exactly. Would you say that you're happy now or
Yeah, well, a lot happier.
what happier?
Like, I still have bad days, but I'm just really optimistic now. I'm like, I also trust the process in a way of like, I've had some days where um, I don't even like to say it this way, but what I would say, like, the DPR was back, but it wasn't back. It was just a bad day for me in general. But I really trust a process now of like, it is also not a straight line up.
Mhm.
It goes up and down, up and down. But I'm a lot happier with the fact that I know that it can go away.
Yeah.
So that makes me a lot happier in general. And also when I feel these feelings sometimes because of stress or something, I can, like, I'm still happy. I'm
Mhm.
never unhappy anymore. And I used to be really unhappy because of those facts.
Mhm. I think I just want to make clear because I of course know about your situation, but I think for some people that are watching right now, it seems as
Yeah.
if you're describing it more in I guess a not a negative way, but like very much focusing on the fact that it's still coming back. And I also just kind of want to give people an idea of like do you feel that you are getting better despite it
Yeah,
coming back? Yeah, okay.
definitely. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, good to confirm that.
Yeah. Yeah. The conclusion of this all, because like, I know I can be a little weird and inclusive when I talk sometimes, but yeah, the conclusion is I am happy and I'm really, really getting better. 100%.
Okay, you're getting better. That's good.
Yeah.
What do you think for you are like the things, the insights, the like if you were to be talking to someone that has DPDR right now and you'd have to give them a little bit of a crash course on your point of view of how to get better or how to deal with this based on your own journey, what would you give as tips or advice to other people?
Well, I would say just like really focus on life more in a way. Like, focus on the things that you think are helping, but more in a way of like, for example, my exercise, and I now focus on it as a way of life. Like, I'm just living life and I'm exercising because I want to be healthy. I'm doing this because I want to, like, and it's the same with like bad stuff. Um, because like, before I say this, of course, stuff like alcohol, it's bad for you. It's a poison, of course.
Mhm.
But say it's like cookies or whatever. Like, if you want to do something because it feels good and you want to go out with friends and you want to have a nice dinner or something, like, do that stuff. And like, not stay away from it because you think it's going to be bad for your DPDR or something. Because I used to link everything to my DPDR.
Mhm.
Like, I shouldn't do this because of my DPDR. I shouldn't go out. I shouldn't do this. So I would say, like, even how hard it might feel, because it felt really hard, like, still go live your life, still do stuff, go to work, see friends and stuff, and don't like wither away somewhere because that's gonna make it worse.
Yeah, don't restrain yourself from the things that
Yeah.
you enjoy. You
Yeah.
can make them a rule that like, oh, this is why I'm triggered, or why do you think that now, like if you look at your situation with DPDR, what do you think for you the trigger for DPDR being there was, if you really think about it? Like what was it for you that was keeping it alive?
um I guess the fear of it
Yeah.
was the main thing, because it's also like, I've also been diagnosed with an anxiety disorder. And the way that started was the same thing. I wasn't like anxious for stuff. I was just anxious for the anxiety.
Mhm.
I was always anticipating when the next panic attack would hit.
Yeah.
So it was the same with DPDR. It was also like when something fun was coming up, like I was going to a concert with friends or something. I was really, really, really scared that it was going to be ruined because I would get a DPDR attack or something. So I was
Yeah.
basically always on edge. I was always waiting for when the next thing would happen or something.
Yeah. And now you don't have that anymore.
No, I'm not anticipating it anymore. I
Mm.
sometimes feel bad, but then yeah, I feel bad. So
And it's like, okay, I can,
yeah,
and it goes away.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, good. Any other things that helped you, or any other tips that you would think about to share with the people that are watching?
Um, well, that will definitely go talk to someone about it because for me, and it's like been the same all my life, but it's the same as like you're doing a certain stuff and then your doctor tells you, hey, that's not good for you. Then I think like, oh, hey, yeah, maybe it's indeed not good for me because the guy or a woman has authority. And it's not really a question of authority in this case, I guess. But when I started talking with you, it was like you obviously have a lot of experience on the topic. And I just needed someone to tell me certain stuff.
Mhm.
Like I needed someone to tell me, like, hey, maybe you should take it as some kind of signal from your body. Like I probably would have come across that somewhere, maybe before, but I instantly like don't believe that stuff. And I think like, oh, I'm the only one having my specific form of DPDR and I'm never gonna get over it. Um, so yeah, I would say like definitely go talk to someone about it because people will understand, especially experts. But also like I talked about it with my parents, which was really scary, but and they didn't understand, but they were really helpful, and
Mhm.
my friends as well. So yeah, I'd say don't like bottle it all up inside of you because that's not helping.
Yeah, and that's something I think because for you, I think that like a lot of work was already done in the decision for you to say, all right, enough of this. I'm just going to finally do something about it because I think it is so easy sometimes to just maybe out of fear of what will come up if you take it serious and really face it, maybe out of comfort or, sometimes that first step, it feels very scary. But I
Yeah,
think for you, it was clear that like from the first session we had, you were like, all right, like I'm ready to finally face this and do something about it. And that determination, I think, is a really, really good quality to have to go into your journey because you're like finally taking ownership of I have to do something. It's gonna be me.
yeah,
And I have to congratulate you for that as well because I think you did a really good job at like very quickly making shifts. It was like everything we talked about, you implemented, and you very much were like, okay, yeah, you're right. And this is so it was really nice working with you as well because you really took responsibility of your recovery process. And I think sometimes we're not always ready for that yet. And we need to get to
yeah,
that point where we're like, "Ugh, okay, it's enough is enough. Something has to change."
yeah.
Um, so
Yeah, and
yeah.
I think that's a great point indeed because, like I said, like I've been having it on and off since 2013, and it was just like at some point in a weird way you kind of get comfortable with the fact that like, oh well, I'm gonna have this forever, and then you're like you said, it can be kind of scary to take that next step and think like, okay, now I'm really gonna work on it and I'm really gonna do something in a way that feels uncomfortable because you're like, yeah, but I'm kind of like already in a flow of like, yeah, I have it, it's really uncomfortable, but whatever. And now it was kind of scary to take that step, but I think you helped me greatly, like with taking that step, and yeah, it's just been a great help.
I'm glad to hear. Any last things that you were thinking of really wanting to share today, or something you've maybe haven't mentioned yet, or would like to share with the people watching?
Uh, well, just I guess just like it will go away.
Mm.
Like and also just implement, of course, like just healthy ways in your life because exercise and good food and not drinking too much alcohol are just good things to you. That's like a basic tip, but it goes away. I remember watching your videos before we even met, just thinking like it's just never, ever going away. Like I was really there. I was really there, like thinking I was never, ever gonna get better.
Mm,
Look at me now. I'm happy. I'm really getting better. So just keep hope
yeah,
because it's not. It will go away. It's
yeah,
not permanent.
yeah. Okay, so trust that it will go away, have hope, and take care of yourself for
Yeah,
yourself, not to fight the DPDR. I guess it's like,
exactly. Don't feed it anymore. Don't do stuff to make it go away immediately. Just do stuff for you now. Just go live life, live healthy, and yeah, in the end, it will go away.
amazing. Thank you so much for sharing your insights and your story today. I'm sure it will be very helpful for many people. In case people still have questions for you, are they like, are you okay with people commenting and maybe you answering some questions in case they come up?
Yeah, yeah, of course.
All right, perfect. All right, everyone. Thank you guys for watching, for tuning in, and thank you, Yael, for joining today. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.